Welcome to the live show. I would call it a live stream, but that's too generic. Everybody calls it a live stream. Really, this is a show. It's not necessarily a good one, but it is. So I might start calling it a live show instead. Anyhow, yesterday I couldn't do this shit. A couple other people couldn't do this either for whatever reason. And shit happens sometimes. It's really that simple. Got the early squad people. Usually only a few people come in anyways. But I can still pretend like there's going to be a lot of people. Hello, Jeremiah. How are you doing today? Howdy, Phil. Howdy, ho. Howdy. Someone's been playing too much Red Dead Redemption. Howdy there, cowpoke. I've gotten into playing the Max game. The Mad Max game? Not too bad, thanks. Hello, Dark. How you doing? How's everyone doing? Again, sometimes my streams are slow. I just want to kind of wait, see a couple people show up, then I'll talk about the same old fucking shit I do all the time anyways. But I still like to talk about it. So for the few people that are in here, I'll tell you what's kind of going on. So as of late, people know that when I play Call of Duty now, I play on my PS5, but I play the PS4 version of the game because there's essentially no difference apart from 120 hertz, like 120 frames, which my panel is 60 frames. I can't stream on YouTube at 120. Anyways, I don't got a 4K panel, don't want a 4K panel, and I really don't give a shit about ray tracing. Again, we talk about all these things, and I'm just going to kind of go on a rant there for a quick moment. I'm going to be playing with the controller because the controller, if you're good at it, has some advantages over the mouse and keyboard in some ways if you're a noob like me and you're only getting 30 to 50 kills a match. Yeah, it could be a lot of fun using the controller, and I kind of forget what the hell I was going to say. What was I going to say? I have no idea. It just literally went over my head, under my feet, in between my shoes. I don't know. Anyways, I got my steering wheel hooked up. I might do a little bit of American Truck Simulator, play a little bit of baseball, Call of Duty. I seriously am bothered now because there was something I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it was. Something to do with the controller. Yes, I'm going to be trying the controller out. Yeah, I seriously don't know. I'm going to give up trying to remember. Hey, Phil. Here while I hunt the new Rise update. Yeah, I made a video on that. I played it a little bit last night as well. I like playing that game a lot. But anyhow, so I'm going to get into this in a moment. But yeah, the controller can be really good. Sorry, I'm really bothered. There was really something I wanted to say, and I can't figure out what the hell it is. So let's just get into it for a little bit. Well, I guess what I was getting at was the difference between the PS4 and the PS5 version. Yeah, so because I don't care about 120 frames. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. It's all coming back to me. Let me ignore the chat for a moment so I don't lose my train of thought. So the reason I don't care about the PS5 version of Call of Duty, even though I do have a PS5 and I own the PS5 version of the game, because sometimes people ask me that. They're like, bro, you're playing the PS4 version of the game. Get that 4K ray tracing. Get it. And I'm like, calm down there, little Jimmy. Calm down. Everybody is so hung up on 4K. 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 And they're hung up on ray tracing. Ooh. And although those things are nice, no one ever fucking talks about the single biggest impact to visual fidelity in the gaming world that actually doesn't Well, it does require special hardware, sorry. But it doesn't require um, extra hardware, like in terms of your computer, sorry. Just your TV needs to support it. And it has no impact. That's the beautiful thing. So I'm going to rant for a minute, because that's just what I do, hence the title, mainly chatting, and some gaming, as in the gaming is secondary. 4K requires a monster. You want to stream at 60, it requires a monster. You want to do ray tracing, Resident Evil Village that's coming out is going to be 4K, ray tracing, all that fancy shit, but it's going to be at 45 frames per second. It won't even do the full 60. Can't even give her the whole 9, you know what I'm saying? You can't do it because it's taxing on your hardware. You require a better graphics card, all this bullshit. What about these 3 letters? They're very powerful letters, kind of like Randy Orton's RKO. If you're a wrestling freak, you'll understand what that was. HDR. High Dynamic Range Color. Why does no one ever talk about that? Have you ever seen something with HDR off and then on? That shit will blow you away so hard your socks will go flying 3 states out. Your socks will be in like 3 different area codes down from where you live. Just from HDR alone. And that's compared to 4K with ray tracing at the same time. Right? Anyways. I wanted to get that off my chest because a lot of people always go, dude, you got a PS5. You should be playing the PS5 of every single game you have. Get that little bit of extra, you know? And I'm like, but there isn't really much extra. There just really fucking isn't. So that's what I wanted to rant about for a minute. Now I'm just going to switch over and finally, try and do something semi-entertaining. And that's play some Call of Duty with the controller. I've changed a bunch of settings, like a bunch of them, and I'm excited to try it out, except I have a steering wheel in the way in case I play American Truck, so I'm going to move my table ahead just a little wee bit. And before I get into that really quick, I want to show you that I'm using a controller and not the mouse and keyboard. I'm going to try 3. I probably shouldn't, but I'll do it anyways. The ADS stick sensitivity. Actually, I will try 4. I'll leave it on 4. This one, I turned it down. So adjust your stick sensitivity while aiming down and only applies to zooms with the magnification. Setting the multiplier to 1 will keep the default ADS. So in other words, I'm doing 70% of the 4, right? Does that make sense? Same thing with the high. I'm only doing 70% instead of 1. I did tactical instead of default. Not too sure that really makes a difference, to be honest. That's more of a preference thing. Linear aim response curve instead of standard, so the aim stick maps directly to aim rate. The aim stick curve is the same as the aim rate. So I did that. Standard aim assist, and it allows for some very decent mid to long range snapping. So you could be a scrub like me, because if you remember, I've been struggling trying to play with the mouse and keyboard on the PS5. It's good. It's really good, but it's not phenomenal. It feels like there's just a little wee 10 to 12% feel missing. And I can't quite put my finger on it. And that's when I'm using the exact same mouse and keyboard that I was using on my computer right into the console. With everything the same setting. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. You would think it would be the exact same. If your sensitivity is on 10 on the PC, 10 on the console, you're using the exact same mouse, the exact same keyboard, and everything is 100% numerically the same. Why does it not feel 100% the same? The software again. You can't have the Razer or the Logitech G Hub on your console. Right? So I might be able to get away with not having 2 mice and 2 keyboards at my desk, is what I'm getting at. Did I miss anybody while I've been rambling? It is a lot of fun, and now that layered armor is here... Yeah, I still don't understand that. Explain that to me. I went looking to craft it, didn't find dick all on it. Without worrying about looking terrible. Hit hay is day. I still don't know what that means, that name. It's so confusing. But yeah, explain the layer. I mean, I know what layered armor does. I'm saying I went to the blacksmith and I couldn't craft anything extra. Again, I'm using a controller. Just in case I don't end up getting as many kills. I'm kind of seeing if I can get used to it. Let's do a double weapon XP for 15 minutes. Just to help me get that, my little PP a little bit higher up there. No, seriously, it's called a PP. SH41 or something like that. See? I wasn't trying to be funny. PP SH41. That's it. And again, I'm using a controller. You can see average eliminations at the top 30. This is out of my comfort zone using a controller. But you know what? I want to try something different. If I can make this more approachable for myself,
seize the objectives.
Then let's do it.
Hardpoint located. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure. We're pulling ahead.
I got one, though. Because I snapped right onto him. I snapped. Alright, I gotta focus here. Remember, I hate fucking streaming this shit. I'm 3 for 3. I got him. I'll show you what I'm getting at, even though I might technically be playing more terrible than I normally do with the mouse and keyboard.
Hardpoint locked down.
There's still something.
Hardpoint is secure.
I'll try to explain it. Boom, boom. I got triple kills, and within 3 seconds it went boom, boom.
We've lost the hardpoint.
So that's kind of what I want to share with you in a moment. I think he's right.
Hardpoint locked down.
That's my guy. So you'll notice how I killed those few people. It was like bang, 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 bang. Kind of like that. Like, it was like choom, choom, you know? You'd almost think that I was aimbotting. And I'll explain why this is so great with the controller.
Hardpoint locked down.
Even though I'm getting my ass kicked right now. Let's just simply put, the aim assist is really nice. And once you aim down, if you turn down the sensitivity, it really helps to fine-tune. I almost got him. I mean, it still gets some getting used to. But the potential is there. There are pros that use and abuse the aim assist, and every time you lock on, as long as you kind of have your hip crosshair on, you can really do some damage. Because the game is essentially doing all the hard work for you. And because I'm not good for it with a controller, that might kind of help me a little bit
Enemy spy plane.
to make it good enough that I don't need to go back to a mouse and keyboard until I get a
Hostile
gaming
spy
computer.
planes detected. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint contested.
Ah, I got him.
Contesting hardpoint. Hardpoint lost. Multiple hostile spy planes detected.
But it is a lot harder with a controller overall.
Hardpoint locked down. We've lost the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint locked down.
There we go. See how I just got him so easily? I normally may not have been able to do that.
Enemy spy plane inbound. Hardpoint
It could
lost.
sometimes help if you're just not good at aiming overall.
Hardpoint locked down.
Anyways, I hope you can sort of kind of see. I'm already at almost 20 kills. I'm only doing a little bit more terribly than I normally do with a mouse and keyboard,
Hardpoint located.
is what I wanted to basically
Hardpoint
share.
locked down.
So people that say is a mouse and keyboard a million times better, I wouldn't say... Got him, 22:15.
Contesting
Plus I'm talking a lot too, which is insanely distracting.
Molotov.
And I got him. See that? He was trying to fuck me up and I had time to turn around and kill him.
Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint locked down.
25:16.
Hardpoint contested.
Considering these are brand new settings.
Contested. Hardpoint locked down.
And I'll look at the chat after, of course.
Hardpoint located.
Boom, boom, just like that. Did you see how it went boom, boom? Like it just... It was super smooth.
Hardpoint locked down. Enemy sentry turret detected in your AO. Hardpoint lost.
As long as you get that white dot centered with them,
Enemy
it'll
RCXD
snap on.
detected.
Anyways, I don't want to play too defensive.
Threat neutralized. Hostile threat.
Semtex.
Come on.
We've taken the lead.
Oh, that's my guy.
Hardpoint located. Enemy sentry turrets active. Hardpoint locked down.
Throwing incendiary.
Testing hardpoint. We've lost the hardpoint. Losing the advantage.
Heads up, stun.
Almost not quite to where I'd want to be.
Enemy spy plane inbound.
Lighting Molotov.
Got him, though. I'm getting a lot more kills where I die at the same time, where normally I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to react fast enough.
Hardpoint locked down. Pull it back.
Ah, I was throwing a care package.
Artillery targeting detected. Hardpoint locked down. Contesting hardpoint. Artillery inbound.
Now I'm trying too hard.
Spacewalk inbound. Enemy spy plane inbound.
Lighting Molotov.
Ah, fuck off. Right in the dick.
UAV is running down.
The only thing I gotta get used to is how wildly sensitive this part is. And it also helps me to not play the game with the aim down sight so
Hardpoint is
much.
secure.
So you can maneuver around faster and get shot right in the ass. Like that.
Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint is secure. Hardpoint contested. We've lost the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
Come on.
Testing hardpoint. Enemy's pipeline inbound. Pull the damn plug.
Throwing
I don't care
incendiary.
about losing, honestly. It's my kills and deaths. I died maybe a little bit more than I normally would like to, but I roughly kind of got around the same amount of kills. That was the main thing. I'm still waiting for Blues to explain to me the layered armor. Hey, Arkham Knight, how's it going? Sounds good, William. He's probably going. Anyhow, so the point of that was relatively my performance was about the same as when I use a mouse and keyboard. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yep, 5%. No, that's not worth it. Oh, I was saying, what was the about the armored layer that they did? No, I know what armored, layered armor is. I have it. But they made it sound like you can make your own. Not too much, Shiny. How you doing? I don't understand where you can craft it. That's what I've been confused about. Where the fuck? I prefer wearing my other glasses. I don't know where the fuck they are. It doesn't matter. The thing I like about these glasses is they don't have that nose piece. You've ever seen people with glasses and they get that really dark red imprint on the side of their nose? So I don't know what I'd rather. Not wear my glasses, but have the red dots on the side of my nose. Or wear these, because it's all plastic, right? And it doesn't have that shit that digs into your nose. But yeah. It's at the forge, and you can craft any monster you've hunted. I'm so confused. You mean you can craft any monster's armor from a layered armor perspective without actually crafting the armor? It's weird because I looked and I couldn't find it. You mean at the blacksmith? Where he's like, what do you want? That guy? Level 46. Wow, level 46. This thing was like level 1 a few days ago. It has now surpassed my AK. It is now the #1 weapon I have played the most already. That is insane. Wow. But I was there earlier. It's so weird. Crafting. What materials are required to do it? Anyways, I played a match of this, and like I said, it's fun, but that whole time I was playing, which felt like it was, oh, I don't know. I've already been streaming for almost a half hour. The first 7, that was probably, what, a good 15 minutes I played there, and it was like I had to ignore the chat completely, and I just don't like that. It's at the guy that looks like the guy... That narrows it down. At the guy that looks like the guy from The Witcher 3. Are you sure it's the blacksmith, like where you normally craft your weapons and your armor? Anyhow, so I wanted to try the new settings with the controller. Again, I got about 36, 37 kills. I died a couple of more times than I'd like to. That doesn't overly bother me too much. It bothers me a little, but not from a kill death trying to show off perspective. Dying in Call of Duty bothers me because it breaks the flow of the combat. You get a couple kills, you're running around, you're on a roll, then all of a sudden you die. You gotta respawn, you gotta run back to where you were. Sure, it only takes seconds to get back to where you were, but I still find it breaks the flow of combat a lot. So if you die like 15, 20-something times a match, that's literally 20 times that you had to restart, and I just find it monotonous. I like when I have some games where I'm like barely in the 2 digits for death, like between 8 and 12 deaths a match, and I get 30, 40 kills. That's when I'm like really fucking happy, right? Even though there's people that do way better than that, I don't give a shit. That's a good enough statistic for me that it makes me enjoy the game fully 100%. I made mine yesterday, I promise it's there. I will fucking look again. I can't do it because my Switch is by my nightstand right now. Because I'm already here, I'm going to play just a little bit of baseball because I'm already on my PS5. I didn't really want to do too much Call of Duty. And that's another thing that happens with me sometimes, and I get it. And that could be a little bit off-putting for some people, although no one's ever complained, is flip-flopping from such one extreme to another. Call of Duty, baseball, trucking. What? But I can't help it. I can't help it. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is in a way crafting, but yeah.
What's up? This is Mark DeRosa. Welcome to the show.
Are you seriously gonna welcome me to this fucking game every goddamn time I log in? That just seems a little bit insane for me. Let's do franchise because everything else is like connected to the internet, and I have no interest in that. And again, this one, I think I'm using default sliders. Let's prove it. Let's prove it that I'm not hacking. Everything's default right down the middle. All right.
Just joining us, we're in the 4th inning with
Just in
nobody
case
out.
you're wondering.
Sends DJ LeMahieu into the box.
And again, the baseball because...
Roller down the third base.
Oh, you... I botched it.
In time as he's
I
called
got...
out on a bang-bang play at first.
I got distracted.
Here's big Aaron Judge. As the first pitch to him.
Normally this wouldn't bother you. Commentary volume.
What's up? This is Mark DeRosa. To the show.
Hey, Matt Vasgersian here. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'll leave it there. Just so it's kind of there, but not too loud.
Into the windup. Here comes the 0-1.
But yeah, this game, don't forget, I find... Oh my god, what was that? We won't even look at that. Any monster. Okay. Welcome to your 100th plate. Is it? My 100th?
At the plate now, Luke Voigt popped him up. Robinson in foul ground.
There, that kind of makes up for the other 2 shitty plays I did. Anybody in here, again, like baseball? If you don't, I won't be offended. It also won't necessarily make me stop playing any quicker, but I am curious. I just like baseball. Like I said, I think I talked about... Oh, okay. Sometimes I don't know if people are being literal with me, that's why. Willie Mays? Yeah, Willie Mays. Here we go. That was a terrible fucking hit. And that's the one thing, again, that I hate about baseball. Hank Aaron. The name says it all. Did I just seriously miss that? You're making me look bad.
Line to second where it's caught there for out number 2.
As you can tell, that's what I hate about baseball the most.
As he swings and lifts it in the air out to shallow right field.
You see what I mean? It's like you're giving it away. You're hitting the ball, you're hitting it hard, you're hitting it far and high, but people could just stand there and grab your shit. And that's what's frustrating about playing this game. I may have to change some sliders someday, but I kind of feel like I don't want to do that because then I'll naturally never get better. I'll only play a little bit of this. Again, you can see that I have my gray jersey on. The away team always wears the gray variant of their colors, right? But every time you save the game and you exit and you come back, it'll always revert you to what the real default would have been had you not changed your uniform. And it kind of bothers me a little bit. Because to me, that's part of the fun. Oh, nice. You just got her now? Amazon, overnight delivery? Or was it a deal on eBay? That was me trying to be funny. You're back, Jack. Jack is back. How you doing? Express shipping? Overnight.
And it's quickly 0-2. Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch. 2 away. That'll bring in Giovanni Urshela.
Yeah, I like pitching. Pitching's definitely a lot easier for me.
This is one of the things that makes him so effective as a pitcher. Able to pound his zone.
Oral Hershiser. See what I mean? I can strike out these bastards. I almost said pastard. I'm making up new names now. Mickey Mantle. I still remember that time he swung from the other side. Oh, what a garbage hit. I fucking hate batting in this game. I've gotten a home run with him before. There we go. Oh. Couldn't let me have it. That was... Oh, I should have kept going. I should have kept going. I did it again. I did it again. Not in time. Oh, as in catching it wasn't in time. So did you see what just happened there? It said not in time. But I hate the play-by-play in this game because when it says not in time, for who? Who the fuck was not in time? Me? Or the dude catching the ball? But obviously I'm still on second base, so clearly he was talking about the other guy. I'm just saying that could be really confusing. Oh. Oh, nice. I got 2 people. Oral Hershiser, that's my pitcher. He's garbage at hitting, though. Oh yeah, he's my pitcher. He sucks at batting. Home run. Wow. That was sweet. And it makes moments like this obviously really fun.
And he'll try to sort this mess out. He's going to try to at least put a couple of innings for his guys. Standing in now, Jackie Robinson. Now a ball ripped into deep center field. And that'll get down out there for extra bases. And he will pull into second with a 2-out double.
I'd like to think over time I could get, like I said, used to reading the ball. You know, where it reaches you, when to hit it.
At the plate, Willie Mays. Oh, and there's a drive to deep left center. You can pretty much forget about this one. This
Adios, muchachos. Of course I'm going to replay that.
Including the guy in the mound, who it was just a matter of time until this guy cranked.
Willie
That's
Mays.
the first one of the year, and many more are sure to follow.
Very nice. And you can even see the ball bouncing. Like just all the added details. Sometimes you can even see a fan catching the ball. Let's see if Hank Aaron can knock one out of the ballpark.
to the plate now, Hank Aaron. As he swings and hits a laser to right.
Wow, that was a terrible hit. Like, technically speaking. Because you hit it right at... Anyways. Granted, when you're being in a relationship... Where the hell did I get big? Oh, it was always a big deal. Yeah. Oh, when you're young. Man, it took me a moment to read that. Yeah, I remember being young as well, and I was like, yes! I got a girlfriend. Yes! Now it's like, fuck, whatever. This shit again.
So now to the plate, Aaron Hicks. Fouled
And I
away.
say that, and I say that with truth. Gonna be real serious here, not trying to be funny. It's a bit of a joke, but it's serious at the same time. The reason why when you get older, why relationships aren't maybe as easy is simple. Because as you get older, as shit gets real, as in life and responsibilities, people, doesn't matter who, guy or girl, doesn't matter, there's a much higher expectation from your significant other, right? And that's where it gets a lot harder. When you're young, you're in school, you're partying, you're drinking, you're smoking, you've got no responsibilities apart from going to school and being home at a reasonable time so you don't get grounded, so you could see your girlfriend or boyfriend. But as you get older, you get a job. Now it's, if you're dating a girl, not that they're shallow, but I'm just saying, do you have a career? Are you finishing school? Are you going to college? Do you live in a little apartment? Do you still live with your mama and your dada? Right? Do you live on your own? Do you have your own car? Or do you have to take the fucking bus to come and see my ass? Right? And that's where it gets like a lot different, right? If you have a woman who's well established, has a good career, a decent job, she might not give a shit what kind of car you drive, how fancy your home is, and how much money you're making, but are you at least on your own, right? When you're a kid and you're 13, 14, I remember having girlfriends at that age. Never once did I ever have a girl make fun of me because I was living with my parents, because where the fuck else would you live? Do you know what I mean? But when you're 20, 30, in your 40s, yeah, you don't want to be living with mama. I'll tell you that. Yeah, no problem, William. I'm just babbling about bullshit.
The windup and the 0-1. He comes up empty that time as he's underneath it. 0-2.
So in an ideal situation,
You've got it working on the mound when they're swinging right.
what you do is you find someone when you're young,
Not the greatest of games.
and then as you get older, if they get a little bit more shallow or a little bit more demanding from what they want from someone, hopefully that won't really matter as much because you've already have been, in a relationship for 5, 10, 15 years kind of thing, right? And then sometimes that can help.
Line drive, and that's a base hit into center field.
Hello, Naruto. I get afraid sometimes when people say that.
That'll bring up Aaron Judge.
Jack says it, and that's okay, because he's proven himself. But as of late, when people come in and they say they're a fan, I go, uh-oh. They tend to be the people that say some of the weirdest shit after.
Quickly 0-2. And he struck him out. So double digits now. 10 strikeouts for him thus far. He swings and hits it foul off to the right and out of play. He's
Thank you. Yeah, well, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying I'm not used to getting people saying that, but when they do, they ruin it after. I never understood. Helps if I can speak. I never understood why people marry high school sweethearts. Like how boring, in my opinion. I know. But I mean, if it worked out, that's great. I think it's the terminology that's more boring than anything. If you can early on find someone and stay with them, you don't have to go through that, you know, testing out different relationships. That can start weighing down on you. And then the older you get, like I said, the more difficult it becomes. Unless you're rich, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
count to 0-2.
Down 0-2. Maybe simplify the game plan right here. Get on the
And I botched that. I should have thrown it at second, but whatever.
To retire the side.
How are you doing there, Naruto? My grandparents met in high school and they never broke up. Yeah. But that's kind of a little bit more common too with that old school mentality.
Now, Frank Thomas. A
Ooh,
swing and a drive
you can
center
hear
field.
that hit.
And that'll get
Run, run, run.
near the wall. The relay, and he's gonna make it. He's in at second base. for the
Nice.
leadoff double. Justin Wilson comes on
I think
to
after
pitch
this
now.
inning I'll be
Better
done.
results than the other
And then I'll
runs that they've run out.
try and think of something else to do. Mickey Mantle, he decided to swing the other side.
Mickey Mantle.
Holy cow.
To straightaway center. Hicks is under it.
Did you see the height on that ball? I would have laughed if it would have bopped him right in the head and it knocked him out, just took him out cold. I took out a pitcher once, just whacked the ball right in his skull. It was the funniest thing I ever seen.
Into the box, Cal Ripken. 3 hits in 3 trips to the plate for him so far.
I'll read the chat in just one
Its
quick
way,
moment.
the 0-1 pitch. Hit hard to third.
Oh!
Saving effort
He
here.
tripped.
Glove on it. And not really much of a chance to
Sorry, I do find baseball kind of fun, and it gives me a chance to do a lot of back and forth as well with chatting. Again, when I'm playing Call of Duty, I have to ignore all of this while I'm in a match, right? I can't exactly pause Call of Duty. Anyways, wanted to come by and say hello. Your videos are the best. Thank you, Naruto. I'll watch sometime. I have to go now. Oh, no problem. Thanks for stopping by. Well, it's sad, but we can joke about this for a minute, right? I rarely just get people coming in going, oh, you're the best, you know. It's usually I'm waiting for the punchline like, oh, you're the best, you're so amazing, you're so great at being a fucking loser. You know what I mean? And it's like, I knew that was too good to be true, you know, and yeah. It's rare that it just starts well and ends well. I mean, that's just the reality.
reach first on
Doesn't happen often.
will be scored as an infield single. In now, Mike Schmidt. And it's
Oh, I waited too long.
down the line. He's got a hit in
This will
3
be the
at-bats.
last inning, and then I'll figure something else out.
Sent in the air out to straightaway central.
Yeah, not that nice of a...
He
Yeah.
tracks it down and makes the play to record the second out.
Yeah, Delir Molina, I think, is my catcher.
To the plate now, Yadier Molina. Now a swing and a fly ball. And no one will get this one. He's working on a 1 for 3 thus far. 0-1, here's the pitch. Lifted into center field.
Drop it.
Hicks is there and he puts this one away
Damn
for
it.
the third out. So a great job there of working out a potential trouble.
Ah, well, whatever. I'll save it. That's the other thing. When you play a game, you get, not bored, but like you're done. You can just exit, save and exit. Like you're not forced to simulate the rest of the game. I think in hockey, you're forced to simulate it. FIFA, Madden, I think you're forced to simulate it. And NBA 2K21, I think you can save once per game. Like exit and save once. After that, I think you have to simulate the rest of the game. But this is the only sports game that I know of that you can save an infinite amount of time. You're not forced to play the whole game. And that to me is pretty cool. New game came, well, not a new game, new version of a game. Has anybody heard of this game? Genshin Impact. I downloaded the PS5 version of the game. Seems not too bad for a free-to-play game. It's kind of like a open world, third-person MMORPG kind of game. Free-to-play, but it doesn't really seem to be pay-to-win. It seems to be one of the better free online games. It's kind of cool, or so it seems. I don't know if anybody's. Wait, this game? Really? You like this game? Are you talking about another game? I've never heard anybody talk about this game except for one person once. I think Raj mentioned it. But yeah, it seems pretty cool. I mean, I played it a little bit. And it ran actually really well, the PS4 version of the game. I tried it on my PC. My PC couldn't handle it. Oh, it is pay. Oh, it is pay to win. Oh, yeah, because it does seem to be a little bit pay to win. But correct me if I'm wrong. It's not as aggressive of a pay to win. Like it's, I suppose if it's pay to win, it seems to be on the milder end. Because some people are saying that you can get pretty far without really having to dump any money into it. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So it's one of the more ethical ones, right? Some of them are really unethical with their pay to win motto. It's like, to me, just charge us a flat $60 for the game and be done with it, you know? Just checking out some of the new games to see if there's anything interesting. There's a new game on the Switch that just came out. Looks like fun. Let me just check this out really quick. This I'm going to have to play again. Believe it or not, even though it was a train wreck when it first came out, this game got a lot better. WWE 2K20. Very playable, very fast, especially on the SSD. Steep can be a lot of fun. I'm waiting for Skater XL to go on a half-decent sale on console so that I don't always have to play it on PC. That would be a lot of fun. Because I miss playing that game. Not really seeing anything. Just sometimes they have like multiple different sales and they call them different things, so they have different games for sale rather than just having them all on one page. Yeah, well, if you know what I mean by ethical, right? Some people really have it unethical. Like, do you remember the mobile game Angry Birds? Angry Birds used to be you pay $3 and you got to keep the game forever. And they made a bunch of Angry Birds. Then they made Angry Birds 2. Within like an hour, I had to pay like double the price I would have paid for the entire game just so I can continue playing. I needed to buy gems to continue playing. What? I thought that was bullshit. I cannot wait for the hell's it called? Resident Evil. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Clash of Clans. Yeah. Very popular game. Yeah, there's a few extra games here. Man, there's a lot of games. Holy shit. Okay, I'll look at this on my own after. I'll just go to the my wish list and I'll see if it's there. No. Because again, I have it on PC. I've played it a lot. I love this game. It's not as good on console because you don't get like the stats mod and all that. You can't make the skating, the physics, the gravity and all that more realistic. It's still fun. 53 Canadian. If it ever went on sale just once, 50% off, and it was like 27 bucks, I'd probably jump on it. I mean, I bought the PC version for like 7 bucks when it was on sale on early access. Probably the best $7 game I've ever bought in my life, you know? But yeah. Anyhow. Don't mind me. Yeah, I think I might do a little bit of, I don't know. This game I haven't played in a while. I've been meaning to play this a bit more again on the PS5, Days Gone, or some wrestling. Wrestling I'm afraid to play because it's been so long. I have a feeling I'm going to forget like all my buttons and all that. Let me just shut this down temporarily for now. Yeah, because today, like I said, I was really tired. Didn't really know what to do. I wanted to stream yesterday, but there was that glitch for some YouTubers. They just could not stream for whatever reason. It's super rare, but it happens, plain and simple. Yeah, we definitely don't need to see me 1,000 times like this. Well, actually, I might as well close that because that sucks up the CPU. And I started looking at some music that's royalty free as well, so that in the future I can find some like more ambient, sort of like mellow, low volume music to run in the background if I'm playing certain games like American Truck Simulator. Turn that off. Turn that off. Because that sucks up the CPU big time. But yeah, maybe I'll play just a little bit of this. I've been playing it every day for the past couple of days now. Been having a blast with it. It's calming, relaxing. One day. Oh, my WoW account still works. Real quick, I'll probably flip-flop because I only have a day left and it might help me make up my mind. What should I play? American Truck Simulator? Or World of Warcraft a little bit? Because I mean, I would like to get World of Warcraft going. Oh yeah, I've played Breath of the Wild. Probably close to 600 hours in total. Have you? World of Warcraft Classic or American Truck Simulator? World of Warcraft. Okay. I mean, I still might play this after, but I just mean like for now, at least. I might even be able to keep my steering wheel mounted. Because I have such a small keyboard. I have it angled on a 45-degree angle, right? So I got the steering wheel in front of me and I got like the keyboard going like this, right? Because I don't need it to be straight. Because I tend to turn my keyboards off to the side anyways. Oh, you do? Oh, too late, Dark. I mean, I might play some after. I've played Breath of the Wild a little too much as well. Yeah. For the people that are in here, here's what I want to ask. And I know I've asked many times, but every time I ask, you know, there's just different people, and different people have different opinions. And as rude as it sounds, and I've said this before, I'm obviously going to play what I want to play, because if I don't, and I'm kind of miserable, that's going to kind of rub off on the stream. But ultimately speaking, I'm not going to ask you so much what game do you prefer me playing. What I'm going to ask you is a bit of a curveball. I'm going to ask you the question differently. Do you prefer a game? Doesn't matter what it is. Wink, wink, Call of Duty. Do you prefer I play a game where I ignore you 10 minutes at a time? But the gameplay could be really fun, though. It could be really engaging, full of action, intense, fast-paced. You get the idea? You like that? Not this. I just mean a game that's fast-paced, but I ignore you 10 minutes at a time, and then I say hello and actually pay attention to the chat for 30 seconds every 10 minutes. Or do you rather a game, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, World of Warcraft, a game that could be not quite as intense, could be kind of slow and grinding, but where I pay attention to the chat every minute, every 30 seconds, over every 10 minutes. That's the trade-off. And that's what I'm kind of curious to see where people tend to stand. You like WoW? Yeah, I mean, I do too. So Shiny likes WoW. Hey, Stotts. How you doing? Shiny likes WoW. Blues likes WoW. William likes WoW. Oh, that's cool. Because you guys right there are like half my stream. So that's kind of cool. Did I hit the wrong button on something? No, I'm still streaming. Okay. And I do have to go over there. Okay. Let me just start flying.
Friend. Farewell.
Oh, it wants me to hearth the Sunrock Retreat. Okay.
Mogra
I'm gonna fly there instead.
for the horn.
Long game. Check the chat after. Every 10 minutes. A long game. You mean like a long gaming session before I can check the chat, not so much a long game. Well, yeah, but that's the debate, right? That's why my live streams, I title them as mainly chatting and some gaming. I'm almost like putting in the title, because there's no two ways about it. I have a big fucking mouth. I love talking. Like, I mean, if that's not evident now, I absolutely love it. But I love gaming as well, hence streaming video games. But I think I always try to title it as mainly chatting so that people don't come in expecting, you know, the PUBG, Fortnite, Warzone kind of games that most people stream. So that they're not like, oh, it's this. Well, this title does say mainly chatting, so... Because there are some people that stream, and they're successful streamers, and they're gamers. But when they stream, there's no game. Rich from Review Tech USA. He streams, no game. But he's a huge gamer. See what I'm saying? That's kind of what I wanted to do. Because I'm not really good at video games. Especially when I'm streaming, because it's distracting, right? So I don't perform that well. But are great for while I'm gaming. It says it's running. Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's why I'm kind of debating, you know, do I go back to WoW Today's my last day. It's 20 bucks a month. It's it's a little bit enough that it still makes me think about it. And then with World of Warcraft, that means for a while that there's less of other games, because then there's this extra game in the mix. That's kind of been the problem, because ultimately... So, Dark, when you say long game, check the chat after every 20 minutes, you mean not so much like the game being long, you're just talking about you don't mind a longer gaming session with only small breaks where the person checks on the chat. While WoW I can be decent at, especially in PvP, if I'm not out-geared and stuff like that, I'm definitely not mediocre, okay? So, that there's kind of that. And Call of Duty, I have my moments. I always get more kills than I do deaths, unlike, last year. So I have gotten a lot better at Call of Duty. It is a lot of fun. I do love the game. But it's like I was honest with you before. I don't really fully enjoy playing Call of Duty and streaming it. I'd rather play the game on my own and not stream it. Whereas World of Warcraft, I would rather stream it. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's arguably like my favorite game to stream, World of Warcraft, and American Truck Simulator. But even that game, when you're driving 100 miles an hour, I mean, I can pause the game frequently or, look at the chat at a red light or something like that. But even that I have to be careful because it could be quite distracting and then you'll flip your truck. Both, yeah. What kind of games do you like, Darkside? Like, between a game like World of Warcraft or Call of Duty? Or American Truck Simulator? What genre of games do you tend to like more? And that's the thing, too, as the streamer, what I'm looking for, versus the viewer as well. Viewers that go into a live stream can be watching a stream for different reasons. If you want some back and forth with the streamer, you're not going to be able to do that with Dr. Disrespect unless you drop $1,000 because he's not going to see your chat. You want to watch World of Warcraft, like Asmongold, dude's amazing, pulls in 30, 40, 50,000 people in his stream. He has back and forths with a bit of everybody, but you're almost guaranteed not to be seen by him, right? Whereas with me, I'm so small, right? You're pretty much guaranteed to get my attention because there's nobody else in here, right? And some people, that bothers them. Some people would rather a super small streamer so they can get that interaction. Some people don't give a shit. They just don't care. They don't need to have that back and forth. Like me, I don't really need the back and forth at all. Like if I'm watching Dr. Disrespect, I don't need him to acknowledge me. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel the need to do that. He's entertaining enough that I don't feel like I need that extra level from the stream, if that makes any sense. It does to me. I know it's better for you if the stream is huge, but yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, for me, there's no denying it would be great if I was popping 50 to 100 people consecutively. It'll probably never happen based on history. I mean, in the past year, I've been doing this for a year now. Steady. Like clockwork, as the expression goes. What am I at right now? 3 people? Right? I peak at about 10 or 11 at the most. The game I play doesn't usually affect that. I mean, there's also a lot of people that would watch, but the timing is wrong compared to when I used to stream at different hours. Or they don't get notified. I know people that are like, oh, I've got the bell turned on and all this shit, but I don't even know that you're live, and it's like, well, that's kind of the problem. Storm Witch. I'm only gonna kill a few of these. Ah, yes. These can be quite nasty. Really gotta watch. Leave it to WoW to have me get attacked by a tree. Oh, this is gonna end well. These things hit really hard. But I'll be hitting level 27 momentarily, and that'll actually make a big difference. Because she is one level above me, which does make a difference compared to if she was one level below me, right? It's quite noticeable. But I'm going on the sense of what would be best for you. Well, I only say that, and it sounds very selfish. But ultimately, the other point too is, if a streamer plays a game only because it's popular and he thinks he's going to get a bunch of people in his stream, but he's just not into it, he doesn't really like the game. You know, I know it sounds corny, but, you know, the vibe, the energy that the person gives off, you're going to be able to sense that, if that makes any sense. Whereas I could be playing a game that, yeah, you know, isn't really as popular to the average person, except Asmongold would like to have a word with you. But if I'm all like, oh, wow, look at that, and then even if it might not be that exciting to you, what it is that was exciting to me, the fact that I'm not all like, oh, I guess it's this shit again, you know, right? That's what I'm getting at. You would never want that from a streamer, right? And I mean, I really do get into Call of Duty. There's no problems with me getting into it. I just find it's, quite bluntly, it's too stressful of a game. The chatting, trying a little bit too hard, making foolish mistakes I normally don't make, so I could try to make the stream a little bit better by trying to have a half-decent kill-death ratio, even though I personally don't care about it. And I think sometimes that can affect me. Those flying oh, yeah, the harpies, yeah. The good news is, I don't think anybody's ever watched me and flat out hated World of Warcraft. I've had a lot of people not really know much about it, or it's not really their kind of game. But I've never met any, at least that's told me, that just flat out hated seeing the game. They might have been indifferent to it. They may have had a game they would prefer to watch, but it definitely didn't bother them to the point where they didn't want to see the stream. And even that again, right? What do? Cater to what everybody wants to see, but you hate the game? Or play something that most people aren't into, but you really enjoy it? And I guess it's kind of finding that balance. There we go. That's exciting. I'm not going to bother putting my point in yet. Yeah. I think the main key to... Look at me, eh? Yeah, we're going to have the guy with 5 people in his stream teach us the success of streaming. But I think the 2 main keys to hopefully having a successful stream is being consistent and just have fun. Seriously. Don't do it because you want to make money. Don't do it because you want to be popular. Literally do it because you're just so passionate about chatting, meeting people from all around the world. Yeah. And then if you're always consistent, you're always playing around the same time and the same days of the week, That way, people might not get the notification, but if they really like you, they might say, hey, you know what? It's around supper time. It's between 5 and 6 Eastern time. Maybe that bald pumpkin prick is online. You know what I mean? And I've had that happen a few times where they're like, hey, I thought I'd stop by because I kind of figured you might be online streaming, but I never got the notification. Right? That can help. The key word in that sentence was can, because clearly for me, that hasn't really done fuck all. But Colonel Sanders, let that sink in. You know, the dude from KFC. You know that his chicken recipe was literally, without exaggeration, this isn't a figure of speech, it's a literal translation. You do know that the Colonel was denied his recipe close to, like 800 or 900 times, like something astronomically high, before someone finally took him serious. And now KFC's all over the place. Imagine if you would have given up after 5, 6, 7, 800 times and just been like, well, maybe my chicken sucks. No one wants my meat. We wouldn't know KFC. There wouldn't be as much diabetes in the world, but, you know, right? So I'm kind of taking the Colonel approach, the KFC approach. If it ever just becomes, if it ever comes to a point where it's just no longer fun, you'll know because I'll just stop, right? It won't be because I'm butthurt because there isn't 1,000 people in here. Although I have to admit, if there was that many, I think it'd be kind of hard to get bored, right? Because then you know a lot of money's coming, right? So all of a sudden, you're like, well, you know, I am getting paid for this. It's like those people that review gadgets. Alright guys, I want to bring you another review. I bought a couple of Apple Watches and I couldn't figure out what color I wanted. Or what band style I wanted, so I bought about 5 of them. Must be nice. Meanwhile, the guy will make from that video like quadruple the amount of money of all the watches combined, you know what I mean? So it's like, hey, I don't know what Apple Watch I want, so what I'll do is I'll just fucking buy them all, and then I'll just talk about them, and then I'll make my money back and then some, so it pays for all of the watches, right? Like, talk about, that's gotta be fun to do. I would never be complaining after that. I know I keep saying this a lot, but Blues and I are going to have to try some co-op soon. Not necessarily tonight, I just mean like in general for Monster Hunter, before he gets bored of the game. Because it is a lot of fun. And that's the other thing, too, that could be fun, too. And a few people have mentioned this before, and I've thought of it, too. But, you know, timing and all that can be a factor. Is co-oping with some of the people in your stream, right? That could be a lot of fun, too. And I've done it a few times. Sometimes it doesn't work out too well. Either the person gets angry that you can't chat with them privately in a party chat while you're fucking streaming. The guy was really nice. I won't say his name, but he got butthurt because he wanted me all to himself. I feel special. Thank you. But no, I do like to play my games while I'm recording. But, and he had a shitty microphone and headset. And I had him on my PSN. And he would talk. I could hear him. You couldn't hear him. Or I think you could. No, you couldn't hear him. But I'm talking. And he knows I'm talking because he's in my fucking stream. But he just kept talking about random shit. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to be rude, but I'm trying to stream here. You know, like, that should be obvious. And then I never saw him again. If I had everybody in here that I didn't ban or that didn't get annoyed with me, oh man, I'd have like probably a couple of hundred people in here right now. These little harpy bitches. Their sound is annoying too. There you go, mallet upside the head. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like it works, but it doesn't. Does that make any sense? I mean, we tried it a little bit there, and it was like... It's just never really been a game that worked well for me. I can play the game on my own, but I can't fucking record it, have OBS running, my camera on, my microphone, any web browsers. It's gotta be like... Okay? Now, if I was wealthier, or if I was still making the $1,000 a month plus I was making last year on YouTube, I probably would have bought an Xbox Series X as well as a PS5, and that Xbox Series X would have been my State of Decay 2, Skate 3 console. Literally. And I had done that with my Xbox Series... My Xbox One X. I had bought one for just that reason, but I wasn't really making... Was I on YouTube at the time? I think I was, but I still just couldn't justify the cost. It was like... It was still really expensive for just a few games. But if I was making more money, then I would have what's called more throwaway money, if you know what I mean. And I would have been like, forget about it. $600 for a fucking, to play 2 games. Who cares? You know, like how I spent almost $350 to play a $12 truck simulator game. But I don't regret it, right? Hey. Maybe not, because a lot of... Maybe not what? Hey, Slippin'. How you doing, Jimmy? Maybe not, because a lot of people would get bored of trolling and move on. I know I've done a little Oh, I mean, I've done harmless trolling, too. Example was like when, Shiny Knight said he got a new girlfriend. He's like, let's go. And it's like, sweet, Amazon or eBay Express? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's harmless, like, just messing around. Trolling is so pointless, for sure. I'm talking about the Valkyries in WoW. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, they're annoying. There's no two ways about it. Again, this is my last day with WoW, as in, like, with my subscription. I mean, I could always renew it. I forget if anybody else answered earlier. I know Darkseid made it very clear that he's not bothered by if I talk, or anybody talks, plays a game, only checks the chat periodically every 5 to 10 minutes, doesn't bother him. Oh, yeah, I probably will, and I'm gonna put a disclaimer in the title. Noob gameplay, you have been warned. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm not good at a lot of games. I'm not. Call of Duty, I've really gotten a lot better. But I play much better when I'm on my own. Games where it's like, in the moment, I feel like I gotta try too hard to, make the stream semi-decent. No one wants to watch a guy rambling on for an hour, spinning around in a room trying to look for a key. Resident Evil, right? So I'm gonna do it, but I'm really gonna make a big point that I'm just not good at puzzle solving, especially when it's my first playthrough. It's a brand new game. Some people seem to be able to do better. I work well under pressure in general, but not video games. I just get too mentally distracted, right? Resident Evils are pure self-explanatory. Well, I mean, they're self-explanatory. I'm just terrible at, like, you know, like the demo. The demo was a disaster. I had to play the demo, like, oh man, 3 or 4 times before I was like, oh, that's what I had to do. Meanwhile, there's all these other people that figure it out the first time they play it, and I'm like, well, that really made me feel smart. Right? So I tend to shy away from games like that on a stream, but I think I'll do it mainly for showcasing the game, how it runs, how it looks, how big the map is, and all that kind of stuff. That's another reason why I do a lot of streaming. Obviously not World of Warcraft, everybody knows this game, but like when the new AAA games come out, I showcase them, because that's, you know, the original intent of my streams and my channel. It's not to give you a nice review, because I don't know how to do that. It's just to play the game. Try to explain some things about it that maybe other people aren't explaining. Maybe show off the menu, the settings, what language can you play the game in. You'd be surprised how many people care about that. Can you play the game offline? If you can, are there any restrictions like I did with MLB The Show? You could play the game online, you can play Road to the Show, but if you lose internet connection, your equipment, your stats on your ball player get reset to 0 temporarily while you're offline. Well, most people don't talk about that trivial shit, right? Those are all the little details I want to talk about, and then some of my videos get hundreds of thousands of views, and with, literally thousands of people going, oh my god, dude, thanks for letting me know. You know, I was going to buy this game to play, you know, over here, over there. I'm overseas, I'm deployed or whatever, and I've got no internet. Now I know I can't really play this game, or I can, but I can only play a certain game mode, and it kind of makes them rethink whether or not, you know, the game is worth their 60 American dollars kind of thing. We will yeah, well, that's the other thing that... Sorry, give me a second. That's the other thing that's kind of cool, too, with people that are patient. There's some people that are into that. I don't mind it. Where you kind of backseat... What's it called? Passenger... Backseat... What's that term where you play a game and people are like, oh, it's over there. Oh, that thing you need is here. That... Hey, I don't give a shit. If it's gonna make me get through the game 10 times quicker so people don't get bored, and it teaches them where it is, by all means, do the back seat. Whatever the fuck that term is called. I was hoping you'd stream that. Me? You're hoping I stream me, of all people. You hope I stream Resident Evil. Oh boy. You people are quite brave. As intense and as exhilarating as the game is, it's also relaxing, if that makes any sense. It's not like Call of Duty, where you can't take a moment to breathe. I think that's my issue with those kinds of games like Call of Duty. You don't really have a moment to breathe. Like, this game's really hard, but I have plenty of time to breathe. It's weird how when I quit a game, then when I come back, the game is so fun and not impossibly hard. Armchair quarterback. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard that term before, and I have no idea what that means. Hey, Optic Gamer, how you doing? 11. What? Who's trolling me here? 11 people in my stream. You know what that usually means when we get into those digits? Shit's going down. There's a couple of trolls hiding in the bush, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to pounce and strike. I don't think I've ever had more than 10 people in a stream where there wasn't at least 1 or 2 little turds. I probably won't finish this whole mission, or quest, or whatever you want to call it. Seriously? The other one got pulled? I am really excited for Resident Evil, though. I don't know if I'm more afraid of the Maiden or streaming it and not being able to get past the first room. Right? It means someone who sits at home and criticizes other people in their job when they have no clue how to run. Oh, that's what an armchair quarterback means? Such a bizarre term. I don't think I've ever heard that word before. Is that more of a, no offense, American slang? I'm almost 43. I've never heard that term in my whole life. I thought I would have got Returnal today. Oh yeah, because you sometimes get games a little bit early. I don't think I'm getting it. Basically due to funding, like money. Plus I'm starting to run out of room on my internal SSD. Because when I was younger and tried Mad Max, it wasn't even fun because of the difficulty, but now it's really fun, including now that I don't have to worry about ammo, gas, and water. But yeah, anyways, the idea of me playing Resident Evil and having people tell me what to do, as long as they know what they're talking about, and actually kind of help out. Hola! ¿Qué pasa, amigo? How's it going? Carlos Pereira. I probably mispronounced that, but that was a first try attempt. I do like trying to pronounce people's names, but I sometimes botch it, but obviously not on purpose. Did you watch State of Play? No, I did not. No. I was too focused with reading gaming news and stuff like that I didn't even know it was on, to be honest. Yeah, let me head back to the town. Let me go in an inn. Oh, boy. Hey, Riddler. Armchair quarterback is from American... Oh, okay, I figured. It's the guys who sit in their chair watching the game and think they can throw the ball. Oh, that... Ah, okay, armchair. Okay, yeah, I get it now that you word it that way. Carlos, I have no idea what you're saying. No offense. La comida muy buena, you know? Like, I don't speak a lot of Spanish. Je parle beaucoup de français, par exemple. Si tu veux parler en français, j'ai aucun problème avec ça. So if you want to, you know, hey there, you didn't miss anything. But yeah. Yeah, I don't mind you, you know, talking another language. I think I've talked about this before. This is a pretty serious thing, especially in the very sensitive world we live in. You got a lot of big streamers, like I'm talking big streamers. And one of the biggest things they talk about sometimes in their bio is English only. But they're saying English only as in, like, that's the only language that they can speak. But they're also talking about that's the only language you're allowed to talk in the stream, to the point where if you don't speak it, you'll actually get banned from the chat. That seems a little bit much. I would think just a polite, try to keep it English only for the sake of, like, so everybody can understand would be, you know, understandable. But some people take that as being hateful. And I wanted to hear you guys' opinion on that. You think it's rude to say that a stream has to be a certain language? Because this is kind of like different than, this isn't like walking down the street or waiting for the bus and you're like, hey, English only, motherfucker. Right? That's different. That's like rude. It's like, well, first of all, this conversation, you know, isn't meant for you, motherfucker. So that's different. Yeah. No, well, that's what I kind of figured. Whereas, like, with a chat, it's different because we're all a part of that conversation. I've made a small speech about that before, and nobody got me the wrong way. It's like, let me give you an example. That's a really good example. So I had a Chinese couple come over once. I was selling them an iPad. And they came over, and they're like, oh, good day. How are you, my friend? You know, like, you could tell they were talking English. Because, you know, I'm English. Well, I'm French, but I could speak English because I was talking to them in English. And they're looking at the iPad, and they're like, oh, so you want, you know, 450 or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden, they din lane dina, and I'm like in my head right away, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You're in my fucking home. We're talking about me selling you an item, and you feel the need to purposely switch to a language that there's a good probability I can't understand, clearly for only one reason only, is that you don't want to fucking have me understand what the fuck you're saying. I took that as a huge sign of disrespect, and I said something very clearly. I was like, hey, I don't fucking speak Chinese. You're in my fucking home and we're doing business. But the moment they step outside and they start talking Chinese, that would then be rude on my part for me to say, hey, English, bitch. Because now it's a completely different ballgame. Now the transaction's over, they're on their merry way, they're in a public area, and it's just the two of them talking their native tongue. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I felt like when it was in my house, it was different. Like, to me, that's rude. I've been to parties before where people talk to me in a different language, and I'm like, let's keep it English, and they're like, what? And I'm like, well, nobody else knows how to speak this. And I was already in the middle of a conversation with someone, like, you know, like a little bonfire or something like that. To me, it's rude if you do that, right? Whether you're consciously doing it on purpose so people don't understand you or you just don't care. To me, if you've got other people with you in your social circle, doesn't it kind of help to speak the main language that everyone can understand, since everybody is included in that A and B conversation? Anyways. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. I can only speak English, but if I were to stream, I honestly wouldn't know what to do in that situation, because I'm not going to I'm not going to ban them, but if they were to keep going on and on and on, it becomes kind of clutter. It's kind of like, sorry, man, I just don't get it. Yeah, I think it is disrespectful. Yeah. But that's the thing. I took it as a sign of disrespect because you come over, you speak to me in perfect English. You're in my fucking home. And then all of a sudden you just go off to your Chinese, and I'm like, I would never do that. I would never walk into someone's house and say, hey man, how's it going? So is that the iPhone you're selling me? Hey, qu'est-ce que tu penses de ça? Tu penses que je devrais parler, acheter le téléphone? Tu penses que je devrais lui donner moins d'argent? Il a l'air d'un petit Christ de calice de tabarnak, là, lui. I would want you to be like, what the fuck did you just say? Because of that very specific situation. I'm entering your home, and I went out of my way to talk. To me, it's no different than go, hey, psst. Might as well have just whispered in the person's ear. Like, what is it that you're saying that I can't understand, that you don't want me to hear? That was the way my brain thought right away, that it just went right to that. Because again, I would never do that. Anyways, not the end of the world, but Carlos, I don't speak Portuguese, unfortunately. I wish I could. A really good friend of mine is Portuguese, but I cannot speak it. And I think you'll very quickly see that nobody else can, that I'm aware of. Anyhow, a couple people like World of Warcraft, and that's kind of cool. Well, and that they could, but that does bring up a good point. Obviously, and that's why every situation's different, but Darkseid actually brings up a good question. Say a dude comes over, he's Chinese, and his old mother or something like that, she can't speak a word of English, right? And he comes over and he's the one that's buying the phone for his mother, right? And he goes, "Oh, how much for the phone again?" Oh, okay, $450. Okay, 1 second. And he's talking to his mother, right? That's different, right? Because there's obviously, what are they going to do? Go back outside just to get the, right? Obviously, that would be fucking stupid. No, the two of them could speak clear English. They didn't even have an accent, which really tells you something even more, right? Not that an accent means you can't speak it properly. What I'm saying is even more so when you can speak the language with zero accent. Like, English isn't my first language. I'd like to think I pronunciate my words fairly decently considering I'm a Frenchie. A lot of people sometimes don't believe me that I'm, like, full French. Like, I mean, I did 80-90% of all my schooling and grew up in French, right? It was, like, just a few years before I dropped out of school that I started going to school in English, right? No, they could both speak it just as clear as I could, and then to just, flick like that. But that was a good point, though. Yeah, no, if it would have been one of those situations, it wouldn't have bothered me, because it would have been obvious that at that point he's speaking to his mother as an example, because that's the only way they can communicate and understand each other, right? And have him let her know, oh yeah, the phone looks like it's in good condition or whatever, and right? That would have been completely different. It says I only speak. What if they were probably discussing the minor scratch on the back? So, hey, I know, but I'm just saying, I never would do it. So, but yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say now. After that, oh, and that really, I've been streaming that long. Oh, him. Yeah, I figured that's what he said. Eu só falo português. Yeah, I figured that's all. Yeah. I wish I could speak multiple, like, even more languages, but I'm not that smart. I can only speak a few, unfortunately. But yeah. Well, I'm going to take a break from this. I might end the stream in a minute. I'm not too sure. I'm just kind of winging it. After an hour and a half, I start to get a little, not burnt out. That's maybe not the right word. Okay, seriously? Piss off. Yeah, but sometimes I get a little bit like, ugh. Because I've been up for a while. I worked out a lot today. How many, Phil? How many what? Oh, I only speak 2 fluently. Some other languages, I only know a couple sentences here and there, not enough to carry on full conversations, but there are other languages that I'm fairly good at reading and hearing, but not speaking. So some of those languages sometimes I try to work on a little bit to speak, but I figure, not to be an asshole, it's probably a little bit of a waste of time. I can already get by with a couple of languages. I mean, English and French are 2 pretty big ones, at least in Canada. For the small majority of people that can speak French, bam, I can speak to them. English is awesome. just because it's such an easy language compared to some other harder languages, no offense. And it's also like the universal language of the world, right? That's why you could go anywhere, fucking Africa, China, Russia, Germany. There's freaking stores that have like English letters on them, right? Even South Korea, for crying out loud, Japan. Like that's right. English has been, and there's a reason for that. And it's not an insult to anybody, and it's just the way that it is. If anything, it shows you how smart it was to create that language and keep it simplified because English is, bar none, one of the easiest, as I can't put a sentence together, English is one of the easiest languages in the world. Absolutely. Gibberish is cool. Yeah. Yeah, whereas like French, you've got masculine, feminine. You know, like in English, when you say, hey, I was hanging out with my cousin. That's it. That's all you know. You don't know if the cousin's male or female. Not that really matters. But in French, you would say ma cousine. And that automatically tells you that that's a girl cousin. Whereas if you said mon cousin, then you automatically know it's a boy. Like you just get a little bit more information. And then with the German, there's a third one. There's neutral. So, yeah, some other languages, they really like to fucking confuse shit. And Jabba the Hutt. I got my steering wheel maybe just for a few minutes while I'm talking about nothing interesting. I will, because I mean, I got the steering wheel right in front of me. Might as well do it for just a little bit. Maybe just like 5-10 minutes. Yeah, roughly. Then that gives me about an hour and a half on my own. That's right. And I will probably, honestly, play Call of Duty with the controller on my own and kind of just like practice and stuff like that, like the whole muscle memory, you know, getting used to that sensitivity and the snap aiming and all that. Oh boy, he wasn't kidding. Got my Kenworth W900. I forget what I was doing with it. Well, let's find out. I think I had gone to New Mexico. That's on the east of Arizona. Again, I'm not American, so there's, you know, that whole thing where I wouldn't expect an American to be able to point out all the provinces and territories side by side, right? So I'm in Roswell, New Mexico. At least I think that's New Mexico. Obviously, this is Texas. That's Arizona, California. And you've got Colorado, Utah, I think. And then there's like Wyoming and all that. And you've got Oregon, Idaho, I think. I'm just guessing because literally the name's not there, right? It's like all the towns are there, but it's not showing me like the state lines and all that. I'm just kind of, you know, taking a guess. Hopefully I don't sound like a noob. But I am because I'm not American, right? But yeah, I can't wait to. I am tempted to buy the other expansions, Colorado, Utah, and what else is there? I forget. Well, there's going to be Texas coming. That, oh my God, I can't wait for Texas. That is going to be freaking sweet. I think Colorado would be quite interesting from a scenery perspective to get. Because no two states really look the same. I mean, they gradiently change. And, you know, you could be in Florida. Let me just drive a little bit while I'm flapping my gums. You could be in Florida, right? And you've got the palm trees and the crocodiles and all that shit. And then out of nowhere, you're going to start seeing different trees. And that's because now you're going up north, like South Carolina, North Carolina. Obviously, that's not going to be as tropical as Florida, right? Like how it just gradiently changes into something different. You get a lot less of that in Canada. Canada is fairly uniform for the most part in comparison to the States. The States is very diverse from a geographical standpoint, and I kind of really appreciate that. So in this game, that's what I really like about it. It's, you know, you can... I just burnt a red light, that's okay. You can go from one state to the next and be like, oh yeah, this is totally like, you know, such and such a state or whatever. I keep catching your stream late. I don't get notified. Have you played the Microsoft? Yes, I have played Microsoft Flight Sim. Yeah. Great game, but my computer sucks. So it can't really run it. Unfortunately. Now I'm just kind of wasting time. Not really doing much. You have discovered a recruitment agency? Oh, sweet. More people I can recruit. That's cool. That's important. Because you actually have to physically discover those, right? Because, you know, the whole point of this game, there's actually a point, right? Is you can hire drivers, you can make money, you can buy your own truck, buy your own trailer. You start off having to rent a truck. You can't even drive your own. You can't free roam in the game originally because you can't do that with somebody else's truck, like the company truck. And then as you make more money, you'll hire people. They make a little bit of money because you make commission off of them. And then you grow your business, you buy more garages. But because I kept losing my save and I was having some bad luck, I had to use a trainer. I wasn't going to put back all those hours into the game that I spent. And I couldn't go from like level 30 to just back to 0 up to 30. I didn't have a choice but to go to 120. Like there was no in between. So it kind of forced me to kind of go overboard, but whatever. The main stats I like to follow are the miles driven, you know, that kind of stuff. I gave up on the whole, like, money grind thing because I just didn't have a choice, right? I had lost all my trucks and everything, and there was a real sense of progression originally. Like, it kind of made you feel like, oh my god, I bought this new engine. Wow, my truck is, you know, so much more powerful. I could go so much faster. But because I lost all my shit, I was like, I am not going through that fucking crap again. So I ruined it for myself, not really. And I removed the money element from the game to just stick with the gameplay aspect of the game in the sense of the driving. Right? And I still do the jobs. A lot of people would be like, well, what's the point doing all the jobs? You don't need any money. Well, just for the sake of trucking. Literally, just for that sake. The immersion level. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, it's probably going to be on the other side of the fence. Or whatever that is. Nighttime is cool. Don't get me wrong. They did a good job with the lighting. But ultimately, however you look at it, it's just so much easier to see when it's daytime. Give me a second there, I gotta turn on my wipers. Still can't get over the graphics. This game is so small. It's like 5 gigs. It's fucking insane. It's coming to Xbox, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it runs well. I've been so focused on the chat that I didn't even notice you switched to Truck Simulator. Oh, shit. Dark Side, I mean, I've seen you around now for a little bit. Are you fairly new overall? I only ask because there's a lot of people that have... Well, not a lot, but there's a few people that have been following me for a while. And they sometimes change their name in their profile. And then I go, oh, you're that person. Oh, shit, I had no idea or I forgot. Because it can sometimes be hard to keep track of people. Yeah, I know, eh? Like it, and even, I know I keep going on about this, but even the even the clouds, the weather. Like when it's raining and it, like the way the clouds are, it doesn't always have the exact same pattern. Like the clouds actually change dynamically, if you know what I mean by that. It's like when you go outside, clouds are always going to look like clouds. You're always going to get... You know what I'm saying. You're never going to literally see the exact same cloud formation. You'll see similar ones, but it's like a fingerprint. You'll never see the exact same one, right? And that's how this game is. I mean, even before our very eyes, all the clouds are kind of changing. There's some darker spots, some brighter spots. Sometimes there's thunder, sometimes there's lightning. Sometimes the clouds are less scattered, so it appears like it's darker. Sometimes there's not as many clouds. Like, it's absolutely freaking insane. Like, even now, I don't even think that blue patch was there a moment ago. Like, it's just all those details that further enhance the immersion level. It's just... I know I keep going on about it, and it's probably driving people crazy, but I can't get over it. It absolutely blows me away. New enough, I've only been... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. The game engine. Yeah, it is. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I just get curious. Like I said, it's going to be hard for me to remember everybody. But since there's not that many people in the stream, it is a little bit easier to kind of remember most people. That's why, like, when I talk to Boogie2988 sometimes, or that time he messaged me privately on Twitter, I was like, this dude remembers me? You know what I mean? Because he's so, like... He's popular enough that it would be hard for him to remember everybody like that. So sometimes it makes you go, why does he remember me? You know what I mean? He's got thousands upon thousands of people that talk to him all the time. Whereas with me, I mean, it's kind of much easier for me to remember everyone. Kind of stopped a little too far. I'm still hearing that's some nice rain. Oh, I know, eh? And I can even slow it down. There's the different speeds and shit. That guy's gonna let me in? Sweet. As I signal, people actually slow down and let... Like... I'll get over it someday. On my recording, I uploaded footage today. Episode number 8. I was backing up, and I was stuck. I had a trailer and everything. Plus, I'm sure you guys are enjoying a little bit more of the stream that it's 60 FPS, by the way. Full 60 smooth FPS. Remember earlier when I said English is an easy language? I'm not really doing a good job of showcasing that, am I? Now I forget what I was going to say. I was backing up with the trailer. Or, rather, I got stuck. I turned too late. Wow, look at even the graphics on the other vehicles. And I was like, oh, I can't back up because the car's in the way. But the car was smart enough to stop, back up, and drive around me. I had to stop the game, throw my hands up in the air and go, oh my god, what did I just witness? If this was Grand Theft Auto, I would have been ran into, shot at, or bumped off the side of the road, right? I was just blown away by the level of AI. They were able to tell that I was stuck and backed up so that I could do my shit. Like, people in the real world don't even do that. To upgrade or repair, paint your truck. Truck maintenance and repair. $500 in repairs. Not a problem. So yeah, I thought that was awesome. I'm the only dark side who has side spelled right, CYDE. I think when I subbed to you... Oh, okay, I had about 4K. Oh, yeah. Like, I get 30 FPS is still not too terrible for watching. But I get it, that extra level of smoothness from 60 FPS. I mean, it's definitely nice. I'm blown away that I can run this game at 60 FPS and stream it on the same machine. But now that I do a lot of PS5 gameplay, it's easy for me to keep the stream at 60. I could play World of Warcraft at 60. I just can't do Call of Duty at 60 on the PC. Hence why I do the PlayStation 4 version on the PS5. It'll look better than the PC because I don't have to turn down the graphics, and it makes it a little bit nicer on the eyes. I get that. 30 FPS isn't terrible again, but it's that whole when you can have 60. People definitely appreciate the extra bump in frame rate. I would argue that you wouldn't notice a difference. We'll pretend like that didn't happen. I would argue that nobody would notice the difference if YouTube allowed you to stream at 120. I don't think you'd really notice a difference. I think I'll get to my destination, and then I'll call it quits. Then I'll play some Call of Duty on my own. I should make some nice screenshots. Make my own wallpaper. Like the cockpit view, like in the rain like this. And then, do like my thumbnail, like episode 9, and like write it on the windshield or some shit. Hey. But don't forget, I get distracted too when I play, so sometimes I don't really think too much. I take a wide turn. I bump into a Cadillac Escalade, make them do a full 180. Yeah, exactly. It's not really something you see. It's more about reducing the latency at that point, because every nanosecond counts. One bullet to the head, you're dead. All those times that I get killed, and I'm like, oh, it's just one more little and I would have had him. Well, maybe it's because he was playing at 144 freaking hertz. Or maybe he just outplayed me, but the point is it would definitely help. I would argue that a lot of times that I die by that nanosecond, if I had twice the frame rate, which lowers the input latency, I probably would still be alive and get the odd extra kill here and there. But because I'm not competitive, I don't give a rat's ass to put the extra money into hardware that would allow me to play that fast. I just legit don't give a shit. Because I don't have the money to care, honestly. Obviously, if I had to throw away money, I would probably do it, but I'm not really competitive with Call of Duty. I just want to have fun. I might notice, but I do find the difference between 60 and... Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think anybody can argue that. Because your eyes don't really kind of see much more than 60. I'm not saying it's not there. It's almost like the jump from 720 to 1080p and then 1080p to 4K. I mean, 1080p is already still pretty damn good. 4K, I mean, the difference is there, but when you go from 4K to 8K, I'm sorry. I can't really tell the difference at that point. I could show you an OLED 1080p panel that looks better than a 4K LCD panel. Do you know what I mean? At that point, the panel type and the color gamut and all that weird bullshit, technical intricacies, can end up making a bigger difference, right? If you have a shitty 4K panel with shit HDR, it's gonna look like shit. Right? My TV, I have a 6-year-old LG, and it's an absolute monster of a TV. Beautiful, beautiful color gamut. You know, wide spectrum. It's just a beautiful panel. I really lucked out with this TV. I had a $700 4K TV, by the way, a couple years ago. I don't know if I mentioned that to anybody. And I returned it, and I kept this. I kept a 60 hertz panel that's 1080p over a Samsung 4K fucking HDR TV. I didn't see a big enough jump that I could justify the cost, because at the end of the day, my TV's not busted. I'm looking at my game, it looks gorgeous. I mean, none of you are probably watching this on an HDR panel, and even if you were, I don't have HDR enabled, right? But someday I'll get a 4K TV, but only because I won't have a choice. One day this TV will die, and 4K is pretty much standard now. And you can buy 4K TVs for a mere couple $100. Yeah, I will stop it right here. I think the next screen I would want is an OLED. Those things are just insane. Yeah, it again, I'm not saying the difference isn't there at all. It's just not that big of a jump for me personally. Like I have a 43-inch 1080p TV right now. And on the desktop, sure, when I had it in 4K mode and I would look at like my icons and, you know, the print and stuff. Yeah, 4K was a little bit sharper with the lettering and stuff like that. But I mean, it wasn't like, whoa, man. Right? I've been from 1080p cheaper TVs to this nice one that I got. And that felt like I went from 1080p to 4K, right? Because it was so much crisper and nicer, but still 1080p. But yeah, I've played games side by side, and like I said before, HDR. Oh my God. So yeah, sure, if you're going from 1080p to 4K with HDR, that's almost unfair now, right? Because now you're adding like a double thing, right? You're adding that extra crispness to the resolution. And then the HDR, which is just like night and day. I mean, it's words can't even explain it. But the beautiful thing about HDR is that you can show off HDR in a picture. HDR versus no HDR. I mean, the difference is quite striking. Like, I mean, it's like, what? Like, it's pretty wild. Trying to find a decent picture. I mean, yeah, SDR versus, right? You look at that without looking at this, and you're like, oh, yeah, that looks nice. You know, like my American Truck Simulator. And you're like, oh, yeah, kind of cool. And then you look over at this one, you go, oh, okay, that's what's going on there. Right? Like, that's pretty striking. Like, I mean, even that, look at the water. I mean, the picture's not that high of a resolution. It's actually really shitty resolution, but even with the shit resolution, look how much nicer the blue is and the water and stuff. Even the boat, like it looks, colors pop more. Right? Like, I don't know if anybody's ever done this before. Like, I mean, that's trying to find a nice picture that was actually nice and big. You probably can't see that too well. Yeah, like just like this guy. Look at that. He's got two TVs just sitting there, just a shit picture out of nowhere. super terrible resolution. Oh, it's not super terrible. Okay, there we go. Right? I mean, he's playing the exact same thing. One TV's got HDR, the other one doesn't. I mean, to me, it's night and day. It's the exact same picture. You can totally tell that's the HDR. No two leaves have the exact same shade, right? Whereas this one, it kind of looks more like, you know what I mean? Anyways. I run Call of Duty at 1440p 120 hertz, and that's good. Rambo is flexing. Yeah, 1440p is kind of like, it's a little bit better than 1080p. It's not nearly as taxing as 4K. I would argue that between 1440p and 4K, you can almost not tell the difference. And even if you can you justify the extra cost that it's going to take for hardware to run that? 60 FPS to me is more than good enough. But again, like someone mentioned, once you go super high with the FPS, it's not about seeing the FPS. It's about like you hit a button and it's like bang, bang, right? Like everything's just a lot quicker. It's more responsive, right? The input lag will dramatically drop past 60. So if you can run a game at like even 200 or 300 hertz or frames, that would make a difference. Oh man, I'm surprised I've made it this long. I don't know. It's fine. You gotta have a half decent computer. Oh, the Series X. Okay, yeah. How you doing there, Brian? Anyways, I'm just rambling on about nothing. Going on 2 hours on the stream, just rambling on about. I guess I should have done SDR, which is standard dynamic range. What's with all the small fucking pictures? Yeah, these are really tiny shit pictures. Ridiculous. Oh, there's a nice one. That's a nice one. I hope it loads. Oh. I wouldn't say that's quite a high resolution, but it's kind of actually a shitty picture. But you could see the... Yeah, I think he did kind of I think he flipped it. I think it's the other way around. This one looks better, but it says HDR off. Yeah, I think this one's the one that has it. Right? I think the guy messed up. Because this one, look at the green. It looks not as like popping, not as like vivid. This is Red Dead Redemption 2. Whereas the greens on this and the blues and stuff look much nicer. Yeah, I think the guy goofed up. Yeah, it's because he's taken a picture from the phone. It's not like an actual screenshot. You could see the guy's wall. He's taking a picture of his TV, so it's not as good of a representation. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he just made a mistake. It happens. Anyways, you guys get it, okay? I know you get it. I'm just obsessed with HDR. To me, HDR is like a pretty big deal. Like I said, it really, really freaking is. Like it's night and day different. It arguably makes a bigger difference than 1080p to 4K. But again, a lot of people compare 1080p to 4K with HDR, which is just unfair. I don't know why these pictures aren't loading. Anyways, if you guys are bored someday, look it up yourself, HDR. It's a pretty big deal. Not all games support it, But the beautiful thing in closing about me rambling on about HDR again is that it has zero impact on performance. None at all. Like, to me, that's pretty wild. Like, wow. Like, that's huge. So that's what I'm excited for on my next panel, is maybe something with HDR. That would be kind of cool with some of the games that support it. I think with American Truck Simulator, it already looks really, really good, but I don't think it's got an HDR setting. But yeah, World of Warcraft again. I don't even know if it supports HDR. Oh yes, it will run as smoothly. Yeah. HDR. It's not like It's like ray tracing. I've talked about ray tracing, and I've proved it. Ray tracing is not a night and day thing like HDR is. I'm trying to get people on the HDR bandwagon. Only your panel needs to support it, not your GPU or anything, and obviously the game, right? There's not as many games that support HDR, but when it does and you have a good quality HDR, oh man, it's amazing. I just can't stop talking about it. Whereas like ray tracing, I mean, I've shown footage of ray tracing on and off. I did a whole thing on Resident Evil with ray tracing. Yes, the difference is there. There is a difference, but it's not a monumental difference. But sure, start tacking on 4K, a little crisper. Tack on ray tracing, tack on HDR, start tacking on all this shit. Now use an OLED panel. Well, then, yeah. Obviously, if you do that, compared to my panel, you're going to make my TV look like it came from the 1700s, right? Like, obviously. But from just one gimmick on and off, funny enough, just my opinion is that HDR is the bigger game changer, and yet nobody ever fucking talks about HDR. It's always 4K, 4K. And ray tracing is fairly new, right? It only came out like with my graphics card in the last year, those RTX cards that do ray tracing. But yeah. It upscales, right? What upscales, sorry? Ray tracing on versus off. Let me see if I can do... Again, there's a difference. I don't want to make it sound like there is none whatsoever. Oh, here's a good example of one. Like, I mean, this is off, and this is ultra ray tracing. Like, compare the left picture with the right picture. I mean, I do see it a little bit. Look at his armband, right? Look at his armband. Like the darkness there. With the ray tracing on, it looks clearer. It's like it's brightened a little bit, right? You can see the detail of that dark brown a little bit better. But then on the dark brown here, on the clip of the gun, it looks almost virtually indistinguishable with this one. But you see what I'm saying, though? You kind of have to look for it in certain spots. Apart from that, I'm having hard times telling the difference between ray tracing on and off. And that, again, has a huge performance impact. Ray tracing, whereas HDR doesn't. Anyways, I go on about this forever, and I won't. I've already mentioned it before. But yes, it's definitely nicer. Like, this might be a bit of a nicer picture. But see, even with ray tracing high and off, I don't really kind of look at one as being better than the other. It just looks different. This one just looks brighter, but anyways, whatever. Whatever. I don't think HDR works properly for it. No, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, for a long time it was broken. I use I use an RTX card, but I don't use ray tracing. I don't have the CPU power to push it. RTX is better captured in footage. It's harder. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. But that's what I mean, right? As a total package, 4K, HDR, ray tracing, 60 FPS, giddy up. As a complete package, I won't deny that is really crisp. You start comparing 4K to 8K, and now I'm like, I'm sorry, but there's almost like you need a magnifying glass to see the difference at that point. Even the 4K versus 1080p, I mean, I saw it. I just wasn't blown away by it for the amount of money that it cost again and how much more demanding from your hardware it is, right? 4K at 60 FPS, holy fuck, man. That's expensive to run for what you're going to get out of it, is what I'm saying, right? But yeah. All right, 10 to 7. I'm going to end it. I'm going to play some Call of Duty on my own, on my PlayStation. Try to get good. And I might look into that new Switch game that just came out. I forget what it's called. It would help if I knew what it was called. Switch new releases. This will be the last thing I talk about. Well, that is a new release, but it's not like it just came out. It's got the word Legends in it. It's on Steam, and it's been on Steam for a couple years. Something Legends? I don't think your eyes can see it. I don't think they can. So HDR on 4K, 50/50. I don't know what you mean by the 50/50 part. Anyways, I can't. Oh, there. This. Legend of Keepers. I don't know if anybody's seen this game. Like it. Fuck it. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. Might not be for everybody. But it kind of looks cool. I mean, it's super pixelated for whatever reason. But, yeah, that's actually fucking awful. What the hell? And it's right from Nintendo. Why is it so pixelated? Anyways, you could see the pictures. It's like a side turn-based, like Final Fantasy like, side scrolling, and then the enemies actually, the characters actually move to each other's locations to hit each other. It seems pretty good. It's not overly expensive. But it's been out for a while on Steam. I again forget the name of the game. Legend of Keepers. Seriously, you're gonna make me type out the whole thing? This thing. There we go. There we go. Much higher resolution there. Take it easy, Brian. Oh, as in on and off. Yeah, I don't know what you mean on and off, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I've tried it on and off, and anyways, it's really nice when you do have a game that supports it. So yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever played this game. It just looks like a lot of fun. You can recruit monsters again, and it looks fairly basic, but it looks really fun. Like it just looks like a lot of fun, especially the animations. It's not just like a little, you know. There's some turn-based games you watch your character. In some instances, they don't even have an animation, whereas this one does. Anyhow, so I might look into that tonight. It's like 25 bucks Canadian. I might pick it up. I don't know. I got to be careful with all these games. And then there's that other one there that somebody was talking about earlier. Huge PlayStation exclusive. Forget the name again. Probably not going to bother with it, even though it looks good. No problem. But yeah, I'll be around tomorrow. More than likely. Usual time. Between 5 and 6 Eastern time. Not too sure what I'll do. Probably a little bit more Call of Duty. I'll see if I can get a little bit more comfortable with the controller. Because on console, again, I'm not finding the mouse and keyboard to be quite 100% again. It's like 85, 90%. It's almost perfect. It's pretty decent. There's just something about it that seems a little bit off. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it is pretty good. But I do prefer playing it on the PC, but it's just so much simpler when I'm streaming to just grab my controller, play something on the PlayStation, right? That way my PlayStation's doing all the heavy lifting. My computer just has to do the streaming, right? So I'll try to practice that some more. And I might play a little bit more baseball tomorrow. Haven't had a chance to play it much. So probably the same shit as tonight, to be honest with you. So probably baseball, Call of Duty, maybe a bit more American Trucking Simulator. So batting, shooting, and trucking is probably what I'll end up doing tomorrow, just to kind of give you an idea. Hey, Optic, I'm gone. When I say 50-50 on it, I mean give or take. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm like really tired. I got you. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. And yeah, like I said, I'll be around tomorrow. And I look forward to next week. Probably going to do a day one stream. Sometimes those games like Resident Evil Village tend to be games that I don't want to stream on day one. I kind of want to get familiar with the game. But by then, the hype has died down and all that. Sounds good. Maybe I'll do a day one stream. And kind of, for the odd person that doesn't have the game that wants to watch me be a complete noob. And maybe go, hey, did you check over there? What about that door there? Or, maybe we can figure out some of the puzzles together. And that way, once I feel comfortable with the game, then maybe I can start doing some videos. Because I did a full walkthrough for Resident Evil 2 Remake, even on hard mode. I did an S+, that S ranking shit. I did an S+ or whatever rank run on Resident Evil 2. But that took a lot of playthroughs for me to get cocky enough and comfortable enough to do that, right? How can I buy return on digitally for you? Hi, can I buy return? I wish. That's a lot of money. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. I would never expect somebody to buy me a game. But I don't think you can gift on PS5. I think the only thing you could ever do that would even remotely come close to that is buying a PSN card, like buying like a 50 or something dollar PSN card. Then you would like send me the code or something like that. Then I would punch it in, redeem it, right? And it would give me money on my wallet kind of thing. Yeah, Returnal, that's the game I was thinking. It looks like a lot of fun. It's one of those things where with my channel not doing as well, I have to kind of slow down at buying everything that looks cool, right? But ideally, that is what I want to do, is especially exclusives, is buy them day one, stream them, play them, pump out a bunch of footage so that people can, like a diary, kind of go through it and go, hey, you know what? Oh, you can do that. Oh, that's cool. Then it kind of helps people, decide whether or not it's worth it for them. I don't know if that's possible for PS5. Remember, I can only play, obviously, PS5, it's an exclusive. Yeah, I don't know if that works that way. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't stress out about it, but I mean, obviously, I would be incredibly grateful. But yeah, I mean, if you insist, you don't have to twist my arm. Uh, you can reach me on Twitter if you are able to do that. But yeah, as far as I know, you can't do that on PlayStation. I know on Xbox you can buy games for people. I know because I once bought someone a game that was on sale. Actually, State of Decay 1 I bought for a friend of mine. On Xbox, you can gift it. Don't think you can do that on PS5. Let me just look really quick. We'll do it through my my OBS. I won't bother switching the. Or wait, sorry. Yeah, let me do it this way. No. Sorry, I'm half asleep. I can't even think. I do have to do it this way. I'm saying for me, I'm watching it from my computer. Let me just see how that works. So like Returnal as an example. Yeah, it is. I thought it was on my wish list already. Fight to break the cycle. Follow Digital Deluxe. Yeah, there's no like gift button. But I mean, whatever. Like I said, I wouldn't stress out about it, but whatever's easier for you if you insist. I don't know if it's possible to buy codes for PS5. Like I know you can buy games digitally, obviously, like this, and through PSN cards. I think they come in increments of like 50 and $25 or something like that. But I don't know if you can actually buy an actual CD key or whatever it's called for a game. I don't think it's like Steam. You know what I mean? I don't think it works that way. But yeah, because I think this game comes out, isn't it, tomorrow? Yeah, this game comes out tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, I see no option to do that, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think you can. I think it would have to be like I think it would have to be PSN cards. That I know for a fact you can do. You can buy PSN cards, like those gift card things, that you can redeem to add to your account. That I know is possible. And then from there you add it to your account. Not even for DLC you can get those with the deluxe edition. I mean, he can do that. I mean, like I said, I definitely don't want to push it. That's definitely not my style. But I am just a little bit curious. PSN card. Do they still exist? Yeah, it looks like they still exist. Yeah, so these I know still, work. PSN cards, 20, 100, 50. Funny enough, though, I can't remember the last time I saw one of these. I think I saw one like years ago when I went to Best Buy. I think I've seen them. Yeah, see, gift card digital. Anyways, whatever. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Like that kind of thing. Yeah. Anyhow. Obviously, if you can, that'd be cool. Like I said, you can reach me on Twitter, if that's a possibility. But yeah. All right. Thanks for stopping by, like I said, and I will be around tomorrow, and we'll see what happens from there. All right. Bye for now.